Albert Sambi Lokonga arrived in London amid expectation, a young, composed midfielder with the kind of passing that made scouts sit up. Yet promise and reality rarely marched together. Seasons of loans became the biography of his 20s, flashes of composure followed by interruptions, a string of temporary homes that never settled into permanence. Injuries and circumstance conspired. When opportunity at one stop arrived, it was often snatched back by another setback. The latest chapter read like déjà vu. A season in La Liga as Sevilla that began with optimism but ended without the permanence he hoped for. Sevilla opted not to trigger the purchase clause on his loan, a decision shaped by the club's mixed campaign and concerns over his fitness. That refusal turned what might have been a quiet return into a scramble. Back at Arsenal, a summer of heavy investment and squad retooling means the margin for fringe players has shrunk. New signings and tactical shifts have pushed Lokonga further down a crowded midfield hierarchy. For a club trying to both compete and manage finances, pruning is necessary. The narrative is familiar in elite football, promising players become movable parts when strategic priorities change, and Lokonga now finds himself at that crossroads. Enter Trabzonspor, an unexpected but logical suitor. Turkish media and transfer trackers have placed the Super League side near the front of the queue to sign him, intrigued by his technical profile and the chance to add a cultured midfield presence. For Trabzonspor, which has started the season with momentum and ambition, Lokonga represents a relatively low-risk bet. A player with pedigree who could flourish away from the relentless pressure of top-four contenders in England. Reports claim the club is conducting cost assessments and monitoring Arsenal's openness to negotiate, suggesting talks may accelerate while Spain and England settle their summer business. Timing is a quiet plot twist in this saga. Turkey's transfer window stretches later than the Premier League's, offering both a runway and leverage. That extra breathing room changes the calculus. It lets interested clubs submit offers after other markets have shut, and it gives Arsenal a last chance to find a buyer without rushing terms. Practically, it means Lokonga's future may be decided in a different rhythm to his colleagues, because negotiations have an extra clock to race against. So what's at stake? For Arsenal, selling a player like Lokonga would tidy a congested midfield, free wages and potentially fund another incoming, the kind of simple arithmetic clubs must perform as transfer deadlines loom. For Lokonga, a permanent move would be less about currency and more about continuity. One club, one manager, a clear role to rebuild confidence and form. If he lands at a place willing to invest time, he could re-anchor his career. If negotiations fumble, he risks more loans or stagnation. The human element underlines every line in the ledger. Young careers are fragile things, shaped by injury timing, managerial trust, and the random mercy of circumstance. Lokonga's talent remains visible to those who watch beyond the headlines, an eye for the pass, a calmness under immediate pressure, and versatility that can fit several systems. The question now is straightforward and urgent. Will he find a club ready to bet on him for the long term, or will he remain another talented player in perpetual transit? Decisions will likely pick up pace as the Turkish window moves through its final days and clubs finalize squads. Whether Lokonga's story becomes a redemption arc in the Super League or another chapter of almost will depend on negotiations, medicals, and the simple willingness of a club to make him central rather than peripheral. For now, the transfer desks are busy, the phones are ringing, and a player who once looked destined for stability faces his next defining choice.